Yes, you did read that correctly. I am giving away a 400-year-old book about Roman magic, so stay tuned for that. But this video is also an announcement for my first antiquarian occult book catalog of the year, what I like to call Esoterica Ex Libris. Again, along with giving away a 400-year-old book for free, basically, and some news on the new-ish music for the channel that you heard as the channel came in. But working in the world of esoteric studies has the absolutely wonderful side effect of having to get acquainted with the world of antiquarian books. Frankly, it's just something that's necessary for me to do my work half the time. Often, there aren't even modern editions of some of the books that I cover here at Esoterica, and if we're honest, the Venn diagram of people interested in the occult and people who love old books is basically a circle. So that's why I do try to curate a couple of catalogs a year where I make available a choice selection of antiquarian, occult, and esoteric volumes, mostly from the 16th, 17th, and 18th centuries. So, cool old occult books. Who doesn't like that? The normies. They don't like that. Honestly, I will say, however, that the world of rare and antique books is intimidating to say the least. They are obscurely titled in dead languages, there are often numerous editions and catalogs that often do more to obscure the book you're interested in getting it than actually helping you to, acquire the book, much less giving you any sense of what a fair price is for these kinds of books on the market. Hence, I try to curate a small selection of volumes, many of them actually taken from Esoterica episodes. Now, I know that most of you aren't going to become rare book collectors, and some of these books are frankly pretty expensive. But this side of Esoterica does give you the chance to invest a little bit in a few or even a single volume from the history of the esoteric and the occult. In fact, I remember the first time I acquired an antiquarian occult book, I saved up for months to get a copy of Agrippa's De Incurtitudine, and still, it's not worn off. Holding a 350, 400-year-old book, it still fires my imagination. So I'm really excited to make that experience possible for you. And not cheap, I'm not going to lie, though somehow they're still often less expensive than Brill books. Brill. You hear that, Brill? These old books are more accessible than your stuff. At any rate, these volumes do represent some fine finds from the historical world of the occult, and several, as I mentioned, were actually recently featured in Esoterica episodes, and I'm pretty proud of this catalog, if I'm gonna be honest. We have some banned exorcism manuals and hidden documents of the Illuminati. Yeah, the Illuminati. Like first edition Illuminati stuff. Collections from the first printed sources of Cathar theology, a history of the Inquisition owned by the Chief Inquisitor of Portugal, some important early textbooks on ghosts, the Inquisition manual actually mentioned by Edgar Allan Poe in The Fall of the House of Usher, a 17th century analysis of witchcraft actually signed by the author of the book. It's a 400-year-old signature. Some of the first Gnostic gems ever put to print, a couple of volumes about alchemy, my favorite thing, alchemy, the complete mystical works at the foundation of the Templars, and to my mind, one of the single most important collections of ancient esoteric literature ever printed during the Renaissance, and frankly, one of the most decisive texts in the history of Western esotericism, if I'm going to be honest. It's an honor to be able to make this text available. I even have a small collection of incantation bowl fragments. You can still see the Aramaic and Mandaic script, and a coin at the very heart of so many 17th century tales of transmuting silver into gold. It's the very coin that many alchemists used to transmit silver into gold. But to celebrate this collection, I'm also going to give away this 400-year-old copy of Apuleius. It's the only surviving philosophical novel from the days of Rome, and it's a tale you probably know of Lucius, who desires to learn magic, and he tries to turn himself into a bird, but then he turns himself into a donkey, and he goes on a bunch of hilarious adventures. Now, that should sell the book alone, 400-year-old book. But this is also gives us a great insight into Roman perceptions of magic. Now, this edition was printed in Lyon in 1604 and also features a running philosophical commentary on the book itself. It's an absolutely lovely volume, but it does have a few defects, which kind of give it all the more character. But you can actually see more pictures of this, more photographs of the book if you want over at my website, along with the entire Esoterica catalog, and you can check those out and see this book and others. So, how do you win this book? It's simple. You basically do anything to support the channel. You can sign up for our Patreon, you can send me a PayPal donation if you want, you can pick up some merch, you can share a favorite episode of Esoterica on your socials, and I don't know, send me a screenshot or something. You can take a picture of yourself wearing Esoterica merch, as long as they're not indecent. You can just send me a note via my website or just comment below with why you think you should win the book. There's no price to enter. But if you can support the channel with a one-time, I don't know, Patreon support for a year or a PayPal donation, whatever, it certainly helps to keep the lights on around here. But otherwise, it's free to enter, and that's it. You can win this 400-year-old Book of Apuleius just by watching this Esoterica episode and leaving a comment or a note or whatever. Not a bad deal if you ask me. Lastly, you might also notice some new music on the channel. After this whole copyright debacle, my brother, who actually got me to start the channel in the first place, so thank you, Jonathan, suggested that I get the theme re-recorded by a fellow YouTuber that we both really admire, Ixie. Ixie's channel teaches music theory, something I find completely esoteric if I'm going to be honest, but she does it using a bunch of music that I grew up on and probably you grew up on too. Heavy doses of Nine Inch Nails and Tool and Radiohead. It's really helpful to me because I've listened to those bands and that music so much that I actually can hear and understand the music theory for the first time in my life. That's what a good educator does. But I commissioned Ixie to re-record the channel's theme, as it were. It's a small little detail of Chopin's Nocturne, Opus 9, number 1, along with a little variation that she included that we're using as well. But many thanks to Ixie for the new recordings, and you should absolutely check out her channel. You can find the link in the card above and in the links below. So I hope you enjoyed the episode this week on the Templars. It was a lot of fun to get into that material, but also make sure to check out the Occult book catalog over at my website. You can support the channel and win this cool 400-year-old book about Roman magic, cool novel, and also enjoy Ixie's variation on Chopin's Nocturne. I'm Dr. Justin Sledge. Thank you for watching Esoterica, where we explore the arcane in history, philosophy, and religion.